Alrighty. Welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. So, where we last left off, woohoo boy, there was some bit of a twist there. Something tells me Beatrice put a reversal on Battler to where like she just wants the game to be over with, or like, put it on halt. So she made so instead of like the whole, Beatrice saying the red and Balor saying blue, this time it's Balor saying red and Beatrice saying blue, and then it got to where like there was a bit of a I'm not sure if it was like a selfish thing to do or if like Beatrice was in the right of doing so, but there was a bit of a gatekeeping involved between Maria and Beatrice. So who knows if someone out there is gonna come in and fix up the mess. And we got to where you know this is the 1998 part where Anji is going to the final journey, which is going to Rokkenjima. I feel like hopefully we can see some more uh, juicy clues of the sort. But yeah, enough of the rambling. Let's continue. This place is 1986 and 1998, and it is that day and today, the boundary between this world and Nirvana.
ここがこの旅の終着点みたいね。
Pretty much. As the strong winds blew Mamon's and Sakutaro's hair, they looked down from the hilltop.
ここからじゃさっぱりわからないわ。お屋敷はどこ？もっと近づきましょうよ。無理だよ。戻ってこれなくなっちゃうよ。
We won't be able to come back. Is that it? I see. This is 1998, and I am the Ushiromiya Anji who has been left all alone. At first, this was a journey to die, but not anymore. It's become a journey to accomplish something.
うん。だからごめんね、二人とも。あの日の私なら何も戸惑わずにこの崖を降りるだろうけれど。
Gone down the cliff.
ビルの屋上から飛び降りた後宮エンジェが情けない。
I wouldn't be surprised if Anji would do the whole jump down from the cliff thing. I mean, she did a pretty crazy thing where she jumped off from a building and landed on a van. So, Anji be built different.
ごめんね。ここでも同じだよ。あの日の風が感じられるから。
It is a pretty nice out.
こんな風だったっけ？うん。もうすぐ来てくれるよ。みんな。
Sakutaro said it as though it was completely natural, and I believed it. Mom, Dad, Oni-chan, all of my relatives, and those fun servants, and Maria One-chan.
私よ。エンジェよ。私は帰ってきたわ。
When I started my journey to expose the past of 12 years ago, my goal had been abstract and I hadn't understood. But now I have no doubts. This journey was induced by several thoughts and fates over 12 years. A journey to reach an end for me, Ushiromiya Anji, and a journey reach an end as the last witch of Mariage Sorcière. I came here as the last daughter of the Ushiromiya family, and as the last witch. The one and only
お父さ
chosen
ん、
one.
お母さん、お兄ちゃん、ごめんね。先にマリアお姉ちゃんとの挨拶をさせてね。
A strong tailwind urged me on. That tailwind took just my soul out from inside my body to the vast forest beneath me. And though from here on I couldn't see, I believe that it flew me to the mansion on that day, to where everyone was, to where Maria One-chan was. And so, even though my body was on the top of the hill, a strong wind blowing against me, my soul was now certainly dancing through that sky. The vast, vast sky of Rokkenjima. Below me was the green of many trees, but I understand. I can comprehend the presence of my family and relatives and all their servants, and Maria One-chan too. I could even comprehend Maria One-chan as a witch. Yeah, sure is. It was vast, more so than any vast space I had imagined up until now.
マリアお姉ちゃん、聞こえる？聞いて。
Anji called to the Maria of that day. She told her of the long journey she'd undergone, of her long-delayed realization of just how much she'd wounded Maria in her youth. She understood magic, and now understood everything about the world Maria had wanted to show her. It was very warm, overflowing with love and happiness. She wanted to become even happier by sharing that world, but I trampled it.
だから私、今こそ全部理解したの。魔法を理解した。私たちの魔法はきっととてもささやかで身近にあふれてる。でもそれは誰の目にも見えるものではないのよ。魔法とは、ええ、はっきり言えるわ。
Without love, it cannot be seen. Sorry, One-chan. I've already been excommunicated from the Alliance of Witches, but now I understand how wonderful it is. And I know that after the day I wounded you, Mariage Sorcière, was transfigured into something different from what you truly desired. Even the magic that spat anger by cursing people was probably important to One-chan in those days. One-chan's environment was sad enough to permit that. True.
でももうそんな悲しい日々は終わったよ。だからお姉ちゃんの魔女同盟を元の優しいマリアージュ・ソルシエルに戻そう。
The ways of making amends. Patch things up, you know? The grimoire was in my hands before I realized it. The strong winds were rapidly blowing its pages one after another. That world had been kind in the beginning. How could you give birth to magic that would make candy fall from the sky? How could you give birth to magic that would make tomorrow's dinner cream croquette? How could you give birth to magic that would make the weather good when you went out the next day, making your whole day fun? New spells of happiness were created one after another, coloring her world with kindness. Those days were flipped through one after another, and months began to flash by. The pages with drawings that had once been colorful gradually began to change into the color of black ink. Eerie magic circles and demon summonings, evil magic for harming people. How could you give birth to magic that would cause the class bully to catch a cold? How could you give birth to magic that would seriously injure someone in class so that they died? How could you give birth to magic that would cause a bus loaded with all the bullies to fall off a cliff? Malicious spells were created one after another. burying the pages in her heart.
私がお姉ちゃんを傷つけたから、マリアージュ・ソルシエルはこんなになってしまった。お姉ちゃんは黒き邪悪な魔女じゃない。白き無垢で無邪気な優しい魔女だったのよ。私が元に戻してあげる。元のみんなを幸せにする魔法を世界中に振りまいていたマリアお姉ちゃんに戻してあげる。
Wait, so we got the whole. So we got white magic. So white and pure magic versus the black magic. Bit of a. Couldn't we just balance that out with the yin yang shenanigans? The entire world.
そのために私はここへ来た。運命に導かれてきた。お姉ちゃん、聞こえてる？その姿を私の前に見せて。
A little bit too I'm like half asleep trying to understand this, so I was like, hopefully there should be a happy approach, right? That voice rode an even stronger wind and was sent 12 years into the past. Then the wind gradually ceased and silence fell. Crunch, crunch. I could hear the sound of gravel being stepped on. I listened to those footsteps, surprised at this miracle. Without a doubt, those were Maria One-chan's footsteps.
マリアお姉ちゃん。
Huh.
かすみよ。
Well, this is unexpected.
ようやく見つけたわよ。エンジェちゃん。
Well, this is unexpected. Again. Before I knew it, Aunt Kasumi and her black suits, a total of 7 people who didn't resemble Maria One-chan in the slightest, were standing there, surrounding me. And it felt like my voice had been just about to reach Maria One-chan too. Because of these guys' toxin, that magic was cut off. Anji clicked her tongue at that, but Kazumi probably didn't hear it that way.
そのお花は亡くなった家族への？偉いわ。それ投げるんでしょ？いいわよ。それまで待ってあげる。
I mean, don't mind, don't mind me. I'm just, here to pay my respects is all, as the one and only family member. Just what are you waiting for? But Anji could more or less guess. The way the black suits unnaturally stuck their hands into their pockets clearly brought to mind the likelihood that they had handguns. This is a deserted island. There could be no more convenient place to dispose of someone. I have absolutely no interest in the family matters of the Sumadera family. AKA this, this whole Yakuza discourse. But if I die, all that wealth will go to them. Unlike me, they're probably very interested and concerned about this matter. Of course, it seems that if the massive amounts of stock I own suddenly go to them, it'll be pretty bad for the Ushiro Miya group as well, and they're apparently having a secret feud, fighting over me all by themselves. That's probably why President Okanogi gave me Amakusa as a guard. Having Amakusa wait on the boat was a regrettable mistake.
おばさん、いつからここで待ち伏せを？
早朝からよ。おかげですっかり待ちくたびれちゃったわ。何しろ喫茶店もお化粧室もないからね。
What? Wait, how the fuck did you get... How were you able to go to the island first? I could have sworn you were way more behind from the pursuit. according to the previous parts. You mean to tell me you flew the plane that fast and you found a boat? I swear you guys were able to find a boat where you just fucking teleport to the right shortcut or some shit.
トイレもないからお上品に木陰で用を済ませていたわけね。
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a guest house that has a bathroom, but why not?
仮にもスマデラ家の血を半分引いてる淑女がそんな汚らわしい言葉を使うんじゃないわ。
Yes, you do not say things to your elders like that.
やっぱりスマデラ切り絵の子ね。
Oh boy, I guess we can't really talk things out on this debate, huh?
気品のかけらもありゃしない。
She grabbed me by the hair and forced my face up to hers, and then spat at me. My words might be filthy, but they're no worse than her spit.
おばさんが私のことを話すといつも母さんのことばかり。私そんなにも母さんに似てますか？
ええ、似ているわ。その生意気そうな目つき、鼻も口もそっくりよ。自由奔放で無責任。歴史と伝統あるスマデラ家の重みなど何も考えず、自分勝手に家を飛び出したわ。おかげで私の人生はずっとその尻拭い。
Look at this dialogue right here. Look at this. Look at this old hag. Look at this trauma dumping motherfucker. Oh boy. I'm gonna be dealing with one hell of a torturous stun lock, huh? You know, this whole family discourse. Holy shit. I'm sorry, the one subscriber goes by very Hoshino, but oh my goodness, I'm gonna be having one hell of a torturous ideal here.
まさにあんたの人生クソまみれね。
When I was slapped on the cheek, my ear was smashed, and for an instant, my head rang. My hair was pulled, spinning me around, and I fell to the ground. And in a flash, the ground was kicked and I was struck with sand.
ああ、本当に姉さんに似てきたわ。その目つき、そのどこか小馬鹿にした目つきよ。はあ、思い出すわ、いろいろと。
哀れな人ね。きっと幼い頃から何かにつけて母さんに比較されて蔑まされてきたんでしょうに。そしてあんたは一生その惨めさから解放されやしないわ。
お前みたいな小娘にはわからないわよ。あんたのお母さんはね、何もかもを投げ出してスマデラ家を逃げ出した負け犬なのよ。その負け犬のせいで私がどれほど迷惑したことか。
あんたの迷惑なんか私の知ったこっちゃないわ。私の生まれる前の話をされても困るわよ。あんたの人生はいつ始まるの？始まりゃしないわ。いつまでもいつまでも永久に死んだ母さんに嘲笑われ続け、そのまま死ぬのよ。というか死ねば？なんで生きてるの？
この口の減らないガキが。あんたたちちょいとお茶をしてやりなさいな。
Make her tea?
お任せを。口の利き方も知らねえクソガキが。少し勉強させてやるぜ。
The black suits dashed up to me, violently grabbed me by the nape of the neck and dragged me down.
私が一服終えるまでに適当に。かわいいメイにちょいと身の程を教えてあげなさい。
Okay, I guess we're not having a bit of a tea party. I guess in terms of tea by the Yakuza, it probably means we're getting the shit beaten out of. Probably killed later on. Ain't that some shit, man? The more we know. I mean, does this even say this in tips? No, I guess not. Sumadera Kasumi. When I think about it, she was a pitiable person. To the outside world, women of the Sumadera family were trained to be in a position that supported and deferred to men. But in actuality, strong leadership was required from them so that they could manage all the common people. The role demanded of them really was that of a female commander, like a literal reading of the word Okami. Managing the Sumadera family with all its traditions was not something that could be accomplished with just an ordinary level of dignity. It was an unimaginably heavy responsibility. Normally, this would have been demanded of Kairi. Kairi had undergone that harsh training, and Kasumi, as the younger sister, should have been able to take it easy. No, on the contrary, she had lived like a lazy, selfish, and affluent princess, sneering at Kairi, who had been given the heavy responsibility. Oh, so in other words, she's a spoiled brat. However, Kairi had suddenly been disinherited. She had refused the fiancé her parents had arranged, and had gotten pregnant by her lover, Ushiromiya Rudolph. From the Sumadera's perspective, even though the Ushiromiya family held a vast fortune, it was a low-level family that had already collapsed. And to become not even a legal wife, but a mistress to the second son of that family. Normally, a daughter of the main family would be shown no mercy for such dishonor. They would wrap her up in a mat, place a pole on end, and throw her either into the Pacific Ocean if the pole fell to the right, or the Sea of Japan if it fell to the left. But Kairi's punishment ended with disinheritance, an unbelievably warm-hearted decision. After that, the Sumadera family began receiving favorable treatment from a section of the Ushiromiya group. There must have been some kind of backroom deal. In other words, Kairi openly left the Sumadera family under the pretense of gaining financial support from the Ushiromiya family. Kasumi had watched it happen in shock. No, she even disparaged her dishonorable sister as a loser. But eventually, she realized that the heavy responsibilities Kairi had borne would be passed on to her. And then, for the first time, she saw that she'd been outwitted.
あんたの母親のせいで私の人生はめちゃめちゃにされたわ。いいえ、一度殺されたと言ってもいい。あの日に私は一度殺されて地獄のような日々に突き落とされたのよ。
それまで人生舐めてきたツケじゃない。
Whoa.
口の減らねえ小娘だぜ。うら！
The black suit punched me in the guts and I doubled over, but I was quickly grabbed by the nape of the neck and made to stand up again. Kasumi cold-heartedly looked down at me, smoking a cigarette. The painful days after Kairi had left were floating through her mind. Until then, she had been allowed to be a simple lady, freewheeling and naive. Only the older sister, Kairi, had been harshly trained, and she, the younger sister, had been able to live as nothing more than a princess. Then suddenly, everything got flipped over and her life came crashing down. Well, that's what happens when, well, her life of being spoiled is over.
私 私の人生も生活も生き方も何もかもを奪われたわ。事情を知らない親類からは姉さんの不名誉を理由にどれだけ蔑まれたことか。呪ったわ。あなたのお母さんを血を吐くほどに呪ったわよ。
そりゃ嬉しいわ。これからもよろしく。
A kick landed in Anji's side as she crawled on the ground. Anji didn't stand up again, so she continued to lie there like a caterpillar as she was kicked each time she spoke up.
姉さんを後ろ宮グループのパーティーで見かけたわ。あいつ旦那と一緒でとても幸せそうに笑ってやがったわ。私に全部を押し付けて自分だけ幸せに。
だから何？私に八つ当たりするとどうあんたが幸せになるってわけ？私に八つ当たりすると時間が巻き戻って歴史が変わったりしてくれるわけ？
あんたさっき言ったわね。私の人生はいつ始まるのって。いくら恨んでも八つ当たりしても時間を巻き戻すことなんてできない。じゃあ私は死ぬまでこうして死んでもなお姉さんを恨み続けて？冗談じゃないわ。いつまで私は姉さんの亡霊に苛まれてなきゃならないのよ。だから考えたのよ。これを成し遂げたら全ての恨みを忘れてやり直せるってね。
Anji was about to lash back out at her, but stopped, because she'd be kicked again if she responded. Even if Kasumi didn't say any more, Anji had a pretty good idea what she meant. Kasumi thought that by taking revenge against Kairi's daughter, Anji, she'd be able to put an end to her hatred. Talk about pushing your problems onto other people.
ほら、立ちなさいよ。そんなにこの島が大好きなら、しっかり深く埋めてあげるわよ。その若さで死にたくないでしょ？母が迷惑をかけてすみませんでしたとか言ってみたくはならない？
Oh boy. Man. I really want... Man, I feel like I want to make a rant about this, but yeah. If you... If... I'm gonna tell you this, like, in very short. If you ever meet... If I ever meet, or if anyone watching this would meet someone or like experience someone that is like using trauma as an excuse to cause harm or project it on others as the way to like end your quote unquote like undying grudge, then that's a pretty schizo. That's a pretty pretty psychotic behavior. I don't know. That behavior is pretty similar to what a dog would do.
誰が言うもんか。 ジ様、ダメ。こいつらを挑発しちゃダメです。ここは表向きだけでも調子を合わせて時間を稼ぐべきです。
I mean, yes, Anji is surrounded by 8 people, but you know, me as a reader, I'm still gonna call like if I find a character to be hateable, I am gonna be pretty childish and you know call them subhuman. Hey, it's a fictional character, right? Look, this is a work of fiction, but if this anything that like pretty prescribes as like something that would similarly happen in a realistic situation, then yeah, I am gonna be pretty pissed off.
くだらないプライドは燃えないゴミの火に出しとけってよく言うわね。天草さんは天草さんが来てくれればきっと。
Yeah, but how is he gonna help? he, he has like several like freaking Yaku is like her henchmen in freaking black suits, and they're armed, so they probably have guns. I don't know, man. Well, Amakusa said he has like a quote unquote big ass supply, lying around. So I don't know, man.
ダメ。あいつの姿は見えないわ。
What is he busy just slacking?
エンジ様のバカ。どうして天草を置いてきたんです。
I didn't need Mammon to tell me. I was seriously regretting it already. I walked a long way. The forest was very thick. I've got no doubts that signs of activity here won't reach the boat. During the time it took for Kasumi to finish casually smoking a whole cigarette, I was continuously tormented by the black suits, so she had told them to. My god. The moment I grabbed at my head, my scalp was kicked by someone at a bad angle and my head was filled with stars. The feeling of stars flickering in this gray, twisted world was one I remembered clearly. My life was very similar to the one Sumadira Kasumi led. After all, as the successor of the Ushiromiya family, I was tormented constantly with various kinds of bullying, under the guise of education and training. Yes. Having the inside of my head filled with stars like this is a feeling I know well. When being reprimanded for some error in manners I seem to have made, the discussion always turned to whether I was fitting to be the successor or not. On and on about the honor of the Ushiromiya family and how deep that was. By the time the conversation reached that point, I'd forget what mistake I was being blamed for in the first place. No, in fact, it was the same for Aunt Eva. After all, sometimes she'd ask herself, what was it again? But in the end, she wouldn't be able to remember and would say something like,
私が怒っているということは、きっとエンジェが何か悪いことをしたのだろう。なら、その悪いことが問題なのであって、何をしたかなんて今さら思い出せなくても問題ない。
oh, Eva's one of the, oh, so Eva's one of those people, huh? Projecting the blame on Anji as always. There'd be some ridiculous reasoning like that, and then she'd keep on punishing me. Yes, Aunt Eva's punishment wasn't something that would continue until I learned something, or acknowledged my mistake, or apologized. It would continue until Aunt Eva wanted to stop. So this violence was a bit nostalgic in a way that made me want to vomit. I opened my eyes and look, there's Aunt Eva. Right next to Kasumi, who's smoking a cigarette, I can see Aunt Eva, almost as though the two of them are laughing together. When I think about it, even Aunt Eva's life might be a thing worthy of my sympathy. The responsibility and pressure of being a member of the Ushiromiya family, which she often mentioned to me, had probably caused her great pain. After all, people can't make insults that they've never been the targets of themselves. It was probably the same for Aunt Rosa as well. As the youngest child of the honorable Ushiromiya family, she must have gone through many tough times. So it was just like what Aunt Eva did to me, just like what Sumatira Cosme's doing now. Aunt Rosa must have been the same. Yeah, but here's my harsh take. Using your own trauma as an excuse to project, your actions onto others, especially the ones you know, makes you a subhuman though. Like, I don't get why. I get the point that this sort of writing right here makes me want to feel bad for these sort of characters, but do, like, man, that's pretty debatable. Do I really have to pity them? I mean, I could make the decision and say that I feel zero pity for these people. People tend to push the pain they've burdened with onto other people. Otherwise, they can never escape from that pain. And so on in eternity and perpetuity, the chain of pain and sadness does not end. That is the reason Maria One-chan's magic was so incredible. With her magic, she didn't have to bear the pain caused by Aunt Rosa. The pain probably was pushed onto her. Its weight probably tormented her. But One-chan didn't carry that burden on her own shoulders. She purified it and filled her world with happiness. So I'm sure if Maria One-chan had had children in the future, she probably wouldn't have pushed the pain that had been forced on her onto her children. That chain of pain and sadness that stretched back for who knows how long, which she couldn't understand and which she had inherited, which had been forced onto her. Maria One-chan cut it with her magic.
なーに私に何か文句でもあるの
In the past, I would have snapped back. I would have met her hatred with hatred so that they cancel each other out. No, nothing got canceled out. The thing being forced onto me ended up right there on my shoulders. Just like how even now I hate her. So now that I know magic, I'll look at the human called Ushiromiya Eva again. What I could see through to was a sad human form, no different from me, who had lost her family and who bore deep wounds in her heart. Unable to withstand the pain of that torn heart, she was doing nothing more than howl sadly, like a lion crying in pain, like a child. Even Ushiromiya Eva was someone I should have let compassion for. She needed someone to understand the difficulties and pain of her childhood years. Even she, who was the only survivor of the Rokkenjima crime, who was faced with the curiosity of all of society, who was publicly slandered and forced to have salt continually flung into the wound, had needed someone's compassion. In order to let Eva forget her pain and sadness at least a little, the Black Witch taught her magic, just like the times that had possessed Aunt Rosa. It was the same magic of anger and sadness that Beatrice had taught Maria One-chan when she was mourning for her torn apart friend, Sakutaro. That same magic, excuse me, that witch, had probably dwelled inside Aunt Rosa too. Oh god. I think I'm a little sick. I think by the time I'm done recording, maybe I need to take some time to um, you know, recover a bit. So I mustn't hate Ushiromiya either. Maybe I should have become her ally, as the only person in the world who could understand her. What did I say to her when I was young, when she returned alive all alone? Hmm, I'm really curious what she said when she was young that Eva, that escalated it, you know, the projecting onto her. But hold on, I gotta get a drink. All right, I'm back. Uh, I got a bit of a energy drink, although this energy drink is pretty bland. but what can you do? It's supposed to be like a watermelon flavored seltzer energy drink, but it is what it is. But I'm curious. So, remember Badler said something of this whole like what was the sin that he committed like 6 years before then? This whole thing like him abandoning the Ushiromiya family name thing, the sin that he tried to, well, he doesn't remember, or quote unquote tried to. Now Anji is like, what kind of sin did I commit when she returned live all alone? Could it be that I acted as though she killed my family and returned on her own? I can't believe it. Aunt Eva, who has never been more than an object of and a synonym for hatred throughout my life, is turning into a quote-unquote human I can understand. So, I can see right next to Aunt Eva the form of the Black Witch who taught her the black magic. Aunt Eva was crying. Wait, have I been bamboozled all along? Holy shit. This is like if the this is the whole demon controlling the human. Like oh, I don't even know how I should feel about this, honestly. It was only natural. Not only was no one willing to understand the pain of losing her husband and son at once, but her only relative had insulted her, saying, "Give me back my dad and mom." I can make the excuse that I was merciless because of my youth. However, to her at the time, it had probably been cruel enough to sever the last thread in her heart. In the following days, the talk shows and magazines publicly slandered her. The truth of her husband's business and character and even her beloved son were negated. She no longer had anything left. She could do nothing but cry and howl, trying to forget the pain and sadness at least for a while. After all, she could only feel a tiny bit of release, and only during the time that she howled. And so the Black Witch taught her how to howl. The one I hated was the Black Witch. Black magic could probably release one from that pain for an instant. However, it never lifts that weight from a person's shoulders. On the contrary, it forces that weight onto further victims, filling the world with hatred. If only Aunt Eva knew of white magic and had a true witch nearby. Shouldn't that have been me? Didn't I learn the magic to create happiness from Maria One-chan? If I taught her with that magic, could we have built a future with a completely different relationship? Up until now, I've hated Aunt Eva constantly, so I didn't notice the Black Witch beside her. Without love, it could not be seen. Oh my. I didn't have any love for her, so now finally, I'll glare at the Black Witch, the one I truly should have hated from the start.
あら、なに？私のことが見えるの？見えるわ。私が憎むべきはエヴァおばさんじゃなかった。あんたよ。すごいじゃない。人間の分際で魔女の私が見えるなんてね。それでその目つきは何だと言いたいわけ？私が憎い？憎い？ええ、憎いわ。
Like I expected.
でも少し違う。ただ悲しく思える。 いいじゃない、怒れば。思いっきり憎んじゃえば。憎まないわ。あんたを憎むことはエヴァおばさんの憎しみをそのまま受け継ぐだけ。
True.
私は憎しみを断ち切る。
How are you gonna do that?
エヴァおばさんの苦しみを受け止め、それを払って捨てるの。
In other words, show some sympathy for them and purify it and throw it away?
何悟ったようなこと言ってるわけ？こいつ頭大丈夫？
I'm pretty sure I'm fine. I mean, I maybe have a little bit tired and, you know, have a long day, but I'm fine.
っていうか、へそでも噛んで死んじゃえば。あんたらもっともっと蹴ってやりなさい。顔とかはダメよ。気の毒な顔がマシになっちゃったらつまんないから。
Wait, that's actually pretty amusing. Her controlling Kasumi that way. It's pretty insane. The black suits persistently kicked my stomach and back, as though they had been ordered to by the Black Witch.
やれやれ、答えないね。私をじーっと見ちゃって。私が憎い。憎いでしょ？私もよ。
I mean, sounds kind of pretty obvious, right? Kazumi sneered at me, but for some reason I had the feeling that she was crying behind that expression. Just like me, the pain of being forced into an unreasonable life would never ever heal. The sad lion, gasping in pain from the thorn he can't get out, continues to howl.
ほら、スマデラかすみ、見てごらんなさい。
You know, if a character being controlled by a demon is taking it out on someone, would you? That's pretty debatable whether you should hate that character or not. So,
かつてのあんたがそこにいるわ。気分が晴れるでしょう。かつてそこにいたあなたが今度はこっち側にいるのよ。愉快でしょう。立場が逆になるのは。
本当に愉快だわ。
well, yep, she's definitely controlling her, alright.
なんでそんな顔ができるのよ、エンジェ。泣きなさいよ。泣きたいんでしょ。
泣きたいに決まってる。泣かせちゃいなさいって。あの時のあんたは泣かされちゃったじゃない。だからこいつも泣かせてやりなさいよ。エンジェもいいのよ。泣いちゃえば。
You know, come to think of it, that sounds like what a fucking school bully would do. I mean, as much as as much as I sound like a self-inserting idiot, it kind of that dialogue kind of sounded like it.
泣きなさいよ、エンジェ。あんたの泣き顔が見たいのよ。泣いてごめんなさい、かすみおばさんって言ってごらんなさいよ。
そう、その言葉を言わせるのよ。あの言葉、辛いでしょ？自分のせいじゃないことを謝らせられるのって本当に辛かったでしょ？同じ思いをさせてやるのよ。そうすることであなたの痛みは和らげることができるの。そうよ、それでいいのよ。もっと自分に素直になりなさい。もっともっといっぱいに自分の感情を吐き出しちゃえば。
I feel like I want to say I want to be annoyed by this, but I'm just gonna let it be. I'll let it keep going. The Black Witch provoked Kasumi, and Kasumi began to give herself over to that dark emotion. By turning deep sadness into an evil alcohol and forcing it down, trying to forget it for just an instant, nothing would change. The words Kasumi insulted me with were themselves sad. And I couldn't forgive the Black Witch who had imposed that sadness on Kasumi. I had gone limp, which seemed to have stopped the black suit's kicking competition. Or maybe the kickers were getting tired too. Kasumi didn't order them to stop, but at some point they did. However, I was reflected in Kazumi's eyes, and they burned me with flames of hatred. She had been tempted by the witch to do that in order to relieve her own pain.
スマデラかすみ？まだよ。まだまだ踏みにじりなさい。あなたの人生はこんなほんのちょっとの乱暴で許せるの？
許せないわよ。まだこれくらいでは許せないんだから。
でしょ？許せるわけがない。もっとよ。もっと憎悪の炎を。憎しみの炎でしかあなたは暖を取れないの。怒りと悲しみの雪原で凍えるあなたを温められる炎は憎しみだけなのよ。ほら言って。叫んで。憎しみの方向で自分を燃やし尽くしちゃえば。
後ろ宮エンジェー。あんたを憎まなくちゃ私は生きてられないの。
I don't know if That's the thing, though. I can't call Kazumi a subhuman because she's a subhuman demon because she's. I can't even call her the devil because she's literally getting controlled by the devil itself. I mean, so it's like. Oh
ス
shit.
マデラかすみ、あの花束を。これ
死んだ家族への花でしょ、エンジェ。
The Black Witch grinned at me unpleasantly, using her chin to signal Kasumi to pick it up. Kasumi picked up the flowers I was going to offer, brought them all the way over to me, dropped them, and made a show of trampling them. Her expression was filled with hatred, and a frantic quality that couldn't be explained with hatred alone. She trampled them over and over again as though her sadness was reaching the bursting point. So the sound of her trampling was just sad.
あら、この程度じゃ答えない？ならこっちは答えるかしら。
God damn. That's a fucking endless rabbit hole right there, if you ask me. That's an endless rabbit hole of fucking hatred.
スマデラかすみ。こっちを使いなさい。ダメ。それは。
The object the Black Witch pointed at was Maria One-chan's grimoire. Kasumi also noticed it and picked up that book, which was heavier than it looked.
なにこれ。
What the fuck are you gonna do? Are you gonna cast a fucking spell on her or some shit?
読んじゃえば。お腹がよじれちゃうかもね。
Kasumi opened the grimoire, skimmed over the contents, and snorted derisively.
返して。それはお姉ちゃんの。
Of course, my hand couldn't reach. My stomach was once again kicked by the black suits, and I doubled over.
ほらね。この本はエンジェにとっての大切なものでしょ？大切なものをけなしてやりなさい。こういう子には殴る蹴るよりもそっちの方が効くんだから。あなたがそれを一番よく知っているでしょ？
As though remembering something painful, Kazumi's face twisted for an instant. But that quickly disappeared, changing into a scornful smile directed at me. Oh, well, there goes that.
なにこの気持ち悪い本。あんたが書いたの？
I don't know. Maybe.
やめて。返して。見てよ、あの顔。もっとけなしてやりなさい。貶としめてやりなさい。尊厳を踏みにじられる苦痛を教えてやるのよ。そうすることでしかあなたの苦痛は和らがないの。
何これ、恥ずかしい本。少女の時代に多少は占いの真似事に興味を持つこともあるけれど。
Well, that's just called calling the kettle black. The pot kettle black. Or, in other words, you're just contradicting yourself. What wouldn't that consider to be contradiction right there? Yeah,
これはちょっと行き過ぎじゃない？
well, okay, fuck. Well, never mind.
やだ、魔法だって。あんた、あれでしょ。アニメとかの「なんとかなんとか」って呪文を言いながら魔女に変身するやつ。ああいうの好きなんでしょ。痛々しいわ。
Damn, she hates magical girl fictional shows. That's a little bit of a too much of a puritanism right there, isn't it? I don't know, man. That's kind of, I guess it really varies. What is Kazumi judging by the age of consent of how people should watch the shows? Okay, I guess Kazumi's okay. Okay, before I get sidetracked, I guess Kazumi is one of those, oh, I don't believe in this magic nonsense. Cackling, Kazumi opened to a random page and showed it to the black suits. The black suits looked at it too and guffawed. That sneer didn't wound me, but I couldn't forgive it. After all, that sneer was ridiculing Maria Onechan. I don't hate Kazumi, but for forcing that unhealing anger and sadness on Kazumi, I cannot forgive the Black Witch. Couldn't we just hate both? Couldn't we just not forgive both? That Black Witch ate into Aunt Eva, Sumadera Kazumi, and Aunt Rosa, tormenting them for an eternity without letting their wounds be healed. I can't forgive her. I can't forgive the Black Witch.
何これ傑作お空から飴玉を降らせる魔法ですって
Excuse me.
何々お日様で清めたお水にお砂糖を溶いて魔法の杖を浸して呪文を
I mean, better than having to pay for fucking candy at a store, right?
何これ痛い
The black suits were also rolling around, guffawing. Then, grinning, the Black Witch whispered something into Kazumi's ear. After glaring at me with a grin, Kazumi took that page. What? No way! Is she destroying the book? Kazumi grabbed hold of that page, tore it off, crumpled it up, and threw it away.
ひどいよ。それはマリアの魔法。あら、そうなの？それはお気の毒。
It was one of the spells to summon happiness that Maria had made with Sakutaro. Anyone knows that making sugar water, coloring it, and leaving it by the window isn't going to make candy fall from the sky. But after repeating that every day, one time on her way home from school, she had found several pieces of candy scattered around. How happy must that miracle have made Maria Onechan? Didn't she treasure that candy, eating it during her night alone with Sakutaro to distract herself from her loneliness? That magic which Onechan had created had been torn and thrown away and had disappeared. The whole miracle of happiness that magic had given birth to had been torn and thrown away.
これも傑作だわ晩ご飯をクリームコロッケにする魔法次は何ピーマンが美味しく食べられる魔法これも生かすわバカバカしいそれも破いちゃいなさいよどんどん破いちゃえば
With a brutal, loud laugh, the Black Witch made Maria Onechan's spells get torn out one after another. She sneered at that happy magic, tore it apart, and threw it away.
やめろやめろマリア教の魔法を汚すな汚い毒素で汚すんじゃない
Filthy toxin. Mammon cried and yelled, but she had no way of reaching Kasumi.
いいじゃない汚されちゃえば魔法の奇跡幸せにする魔法ないないそんなのないってば痛みと苦しみはね他人に押し付けてしか癒せないのよあんたは確か魔法のお友達とかいうやつだったわよねスマデラかすみこいつのページを開きなさい
これは何？魔法のお友達ですって煉獄の七姉妹物騒な名前すごい速さで飛んで敵をやっつけてくれるんですってエンジェあなたこんな魔法が使えるなら今すぐ使った方がいいんじゃないくだらない
The page that wrote of the seven sisters of purgatory was also heartlessly torn away. The page itself was just paper. It wasn't Mammon's vessel or anything. But the tearing, denying toxin burned Mammon from the inside. Mammon's face twisted from that heat and pain.
大丈夫マモンしっかりこれくらい平気私よりエンジェ様の方が辛い
Yeah, no shit. She's damaging the property that is what's supposed to bring the positivity within, you know, believing, you know? Within magic, you gotta believe, damn it. However, Mammon's expression was twisted with unbearable anguish and humiliation.
やめろ黒き魔女どうして君はそんなことをするんだよどうして魔法を幸せのために使えないんだよああ、あんたも魔法のお友達ねあんたも怪我してあげるわスマデラかすみこいつのページも探しなさい
Because I'm pretty sure a person who believes in black magic falls into an endless rabbit hole to where you want to be like a freaking subhuman internet troll or some bullshit like that. I don't know. I mean, isn't that kind of part of the role to project the anger, militant negativity among others?
こっちは何？何この下手くそなライオンの落書き作太郎変な名前一番大好きなお友達だって そうなの？これがあんたの友達？親友？このライオンが？ねえねえ。本当に下手くそな落書き。こんなブサイクなライオンがあんたなのね。こんなのを友達にしてるなんて、後ろ宮マリアってこの頭のかわいそうさに呆れてへそでお茶が湧いちゃうわ。
I'm not only frustrated but sad at the same time. Wasn't there like wasn't there like a spoiler somewhere that's why Maria was making that noise? I feel like wait. Wait, I figured it out. Why? The whole point of Maria making that fucking noise, that constant, like, you know, special needs kind of a noise, is like is a cry, is also another way of cry for help. What the fuck? Oh, gee, holy shit.
神だ。へそかんで死んじゃえば。うりゅ。マリアをバカにするな。やめて。破かないで。ダメ。
There was a shrill sound. The page had been filthily ripped out. The picture of Sakutaro that One-chan had drawn was violently ripped in half. Oh no! If that's gonna make me hate Eva Beatrice way more, then I don't know what is anymore.
お前たちも笑いなさい。
A pair of the black suits laughed vulgarly and heartlessly trampled the two halves that had been torn and thrown away. Yeah, too bad Sakutaro's more of a more of a figure made for like pacifism, being a pacifist.
私たちは見えない人間にはいないも当然。私たちは必要としてくれる人間としか交流できない。だから家具。
As Sakutaro and Mammon supported each other, they crouched down, sobbing. I couldn't stand it either. Those who can't see how wonderful the world of magic is can't understand it. You can't explain to humans who can't understand It's like a fucking yeah. That's like I guess like again, it's like a fucking debate. Your opponent couldn't fucking understand worth of shit, even if you try to explain it to them thoroughly. So it gets belittled. If you could show them it, but you can't, because in front of humans who are filled with the magic-resisting toxin and who can't understand magic cannot be used.
本当にわけがわかんないわ。この妄想日記、頭がおかしいとしか思えない。あんたのお花畑の頭の中が垣間見えて本当に面白いわ。気持ち悪い子。
あんたもマリアも。そこのぬいぐるみと家具もね。
おかしいわ。あんた友達いないんでしょ。いっつも一人ぼっちでぬいぐるみがお友達なんでしょ。かわいそうな子。大丈夫、私にもわかるわよ。そういう生活わかるものだから、私が認めてあげるわ。あんた本当にかわいそうな子よ。
Wait, you don't even understand what Anji's been through. So how the fuck what the fuck is with your all acknowledge it? You're just some. You just sit. You have this like never-ending never. You have this never-ending militant behavior, which is pretty insane. To you, it probably would look like something made by a pitiful child. That's right. If 100 people were to read One-chan's diary, 100 people would probably think the same thing. I used to be like that too. But you know, despite all of that, Maria One-chan summoned a world of happiness. Don't deny that magic, that happiness.
頑固な子ね、あんたは。いいわ。これで最後よ。あんたとマリアの信じた本当にくだらない魔法の根源を引き裂いてあげるわよ。スマデラかすみ、そのページを読みなさい。
なに？このカラフルなページは。なになに？大好きなママといつまでも仲良しでいられる魔法。やめて！そのページだけは！この魔法すんごく簡単じゃない？私でもすぐできそうだわ。こんなに短い呪文なら私にだって覚えられちゃう。やってみようかしら。
本当に簡単な呪文よね。いいわよ、やってあげなさい。みんなも吹き出しちゃうから。
Oh no! I think I was talking about that too. I usually, oh god. With expressions that ridiculed it from the bottom of their hearts, the Black Witch and Kasumi tapered their mouths. and they said it out loud.
うんうん。
The black suits stared blankly, asking what the hell that was supposed to be. Then Kasumi answered, cackling.
これがね、呪文なんだって。おかしい。ほら、あんたたちもやってみれば。うう
The black suits imitated that moaning voice, making fun of it. That was the incantation for the magic that would let her always be friends with her beloved mother.
何このバカみたいなの。
Yeah, that was supposed to be a... I swear, it looks like another word for a cry for help. What?
言うだけで家族仲が良くなるなら世界はずっと平和だわ。
It's not some fucking... Not some... Oh, God. Listen. 4 episodes in, no, man. I don't think making that noise is like some sort of like a special needs or like a mental disability, like an autistic noise. This has got to be, it's got to be a cry for help. It's got to be.
バカなうなり声。こんなの連呼してたら頭のかわいそうなこと思われるのがオチよ。バカじゃない？
Well, you're not wrong, but you know, at least I already know what the meaning is. Anyway.
やめろ！その魔法だけはけなさないで！
It was the day of a picnic when Maria, One-chan, and Aunt Rosa were alone. It was written that this was one of the top 5 happiest days of her life. One-chan was singing a song she just learned from her mama. Her mother had been delighted, but partway through, Maria forgot the lyrics. But since she saw that her mother was so happy, she tried to sing until the very end, with Even though she had only pretended to know the lyrics, her mother had enjoyed it a lot. After that, remained as an incantation to remember that day she spent in fun and happiness with her mother. Of course, even though she seemed to find it funny at first, Aunt Rosa eventually got tired of hearing it, and eventually started scolding One-chan when she said it. But to One-chan, it was a memory of a fun day that she never forget. It's a freaking incantation. It's a cry for help to tell mothers to like get yourself together and be normal. But she never forget. So among the spells that Maria had created, it was the oldest and the first. Kasumi stuck her fingernails into that page too.
やめて、破かないで。そのページだけは許して。ダメ。
With a shrill sound, a girl's world of happiness was erased.
これがあんたらの幸せな魔法なわけ？笑っちゃう！幸せになる魔法なんてね、あるわけないでしょ？魔法はね、怒りとね、憎しみでできてるのよ。
I don't agree with that, but sure.
幸せってのはね、自分の背負わされた憎悪を人に全て押し付けた時にのみ与えられる解放感を言うのよ。あんたたちの言う幸せなんて絵本の中にしか出てこないまやかしなのよ。
Okay, but if you think projecting all the hatred to other people, especially ones you know, as part of your own happiness, like I don't care if it's if it's part of if it's from an actual demon's device or from an actual person that's actually subhuman. So, as Kasumi laughed her head off, she slammed the grimoire against the ground and stepped on it.
悔しい？ねえ、悔しい？幸せの白き魔女さんたち。
White witch, whoa, racist.
そんなに悔しかったら見せてみれば？あんたたちの魔法あるなら使ってみせればいいじゃない。魔法が使えない魔女なんて魔女じゃない。つまり本当の魔女は私たち。あんたたちなんて魔法の夢で現実から逃避しているだけのクソガキどもなのよ。
じゃあ魔法を私が見せることができたなら、お姉ちゃんの魔法を信じてくれるの？
信じるわよ。魔法を使って見せることができたならね。ならやってみろよ、このクソボケガキ。
All right. Yeah, I think we had enough for today. Oh man. What have we learned for over almost an hour and a half? Do I want to split the video in 2 parts? I don't know. However, if anything, okay, let me repeat the rant. I'm gonna say this right again. Uh, I have zero respect for no matter if it's a fictional character or any real person. No matter if it's a fictional character or a real person, using your own fucking trauma as a fucking excuse to project your militant behavior, your anger, your own actions upon others, especially ones you know, makes you a subhuman piece of shit. I don't give a fuck if it's a control if a demon is controlling you or like someone gave you that sort of or a real person. Actually, if it was a real person that did, who gave you that sort of advice, you know, yeah, it's they're also like you know, part of that fucking blame too. If it's under okay, maybe it's a fucking if it was a fictional fucking character, if it was a fucking demon, then I call bullshit. Yeah, if you're under that fucking rabbit hole of negativity and you think it's actually going to fix that problem, yeah, this is actually really stupid, and you're going to be fucking hated for that. Okay, well, that rant is out of the way. Next part. Um, let's see if Anji can, show the magic for once. Oh, and the whole grimoire thing. Uh, yeah, this is a really, really, really unfortunate. I feel like it can't be the end of the world. I'm gonna tell you this. As long as you reminisce that sort of memory, then you will still feel that the urge of positivity no matter what. All you have to do is you have to fight it. Anyway, with that said, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.